Today, we are back in No Limit Drag Racing 2.0 to talk about some brand new info about the upcoming update. And first things first, the literal cover photo of the No Limit Drag Racing Facebook group was recently changed to this, which of course is a massive, massive clue as to what we're going to see in the next update, because dragsters have been a major part of the sort of hype around this next update. Now, the last time I talked about the upcoming No Limit Drag Racing 2.0 update, there were people in the comments saying, well, we already knew dragsters were coming. This is, this is not news. We knew this. And we knew that dragsters were coming, but we didn't necessarily know how many different types of dragsters, what they were going to look like, and things like that. Also, the first race I joined, the person immediately backed out, so it was kind of just a solo run. But back to the topic of dragsters, not only will there be dragsters, but there will be different types of dragsters, like the one that you see here, which is completely different than the one that we saw in the first screenshot. Now, I know that there were people that were concerned that when they saw a dragster-focused update, that it was going to be all sorts of, like all the dragsters were going to be the same type, the same style, but apparently that is not the case. Apparently, these dragsters are going to be spanning multiple different types of dragster-based vehicles, because again, when you say dragsters, that kind of encompasses all sorts of different classes, all sorts of different vehicle types, build styles. It encompasses different generations of vehicles. So depending on what type of dragster you want to build, it looks like there's always pretty much going to be an option for you. And another thing that we need to talk about is this statement from the developers, because there's been a lot of people saying that a new update is out. They've been, posting things saying, new No Limit update is out. It's not out yet, and they say right here, just so everyone is aware, this is fake news in response to someone saying the update was out already, but they go on to say, but we do have a pretty big update in the works, and it will be out soon as it's done. And yes, there are dragsters, implying, once again, from this, and we can also base this on the screenshots that we've seen, that there is not only one type of dragster, but a large range of, well, I don't know about large, we'll have to see what the actual, amount of dragsters is once the update comes out, but it's not just going to be one single type of dragster. You're going to have a lot of options to choose from, it seems. Now, will the dragsters sway me away from vehicles like, for example, this C10 that I'm racing right now? I'm not sure. What'll probably happen, and what I think is going to happen in a lot of different garages, is I think that people are going to start to have a more varied garage. I think people are going to start to have a more diverse garage, and that might mean that there might be a couple of street cars, a couple of no prep cars, a couple of prep cars, a couple of dragsters, a couple of different types of vehicles. I think it's really going to start bringing a more diverse vehicle lineup into people's garages, because keep in mind, yes, the dragsters are incredibly cool and I cannot wait to try them, but I don't think dragsters being in the game is going to take anything away from the vehicles and classes that we already have, because all of these different vehicles and classes all have their own particular charm. They all have their own particular draw and their own reasons why you would spend your time building cars for that class and spend your time driving those cars. And so I don't think that, because I've seen some people saying out there that, like, oh, once dragsters come into the game, nobody's going to want to use any of the other vehicles because they're all going to seem slow and this, that, and the other. But I really don't think that, because, I've used things like Division X cars and, stuff that's crazy, crazy fast, and I still come back to the prepped surface class like this one, because it's just really fun to race in. Cars that are built to where they run about a 5.7, a 5.8 are really fun to drive, in my opinion. And, I know, cue up all the people that are going to run to the comments and say, oh, 5.7 is slow. I'm in that same class and I run a 5.2. And I'm like, okay. But no, it's literally one of those things where there are so many different ways to play the game. And especially now, and with that next update on the horizon, there's going to be so many different ways to play the game that you really will be able to tailor it to your specific approach and your specific interests, whether your interests are, dedicated to one specific discipline of drag racing, or they span across multiple different disciplines. However, with Dragsters coming to the game, that also potentially, now we don't know the details of what kind of things you can customize on the Dragsters. However, it potentially opens the door for builds like a Dragster with gigantic donk-style wheels and, you know, smushy jelly suspension that bounces its way down the drag strip. Now, obviously, I don't think these kind of builds are going to be effective. I don't think they're going to be winning any races, but if they have, you know, if the game allows for the potential to customize the Dragsters in that way, y'all better prepare for some wacky builds showing up both in online races and at car meets and in free roam and on YouTube and all across all the different platforms where No Limit content is shared. Because, you know, ever since I saw someone mention that someone is gonna put a dragster on massive wheels and raise the suspension as high as it can go, I haven't really been able to get that mental picture out of my head, because every time I think about it, I find it absolutely hilarious. And let me know in the comment section down below if there are any wacky, wild, crazy ideas that you have for these dragsters that you plan on doing, especially when it comes to customization. And now that my brain is already in the space of wacky vehicles, can you imagine if the dragsters had the option to put the off-road setup, like wheels and tires from Off-Road Outlaws on them? Then they would just become the world's longest sand rails, and probably the world's most powerful as well, but they would also probably hold the record for the sand rail to run for the shortest amount of time, because the engines in these dragsters, at least if we're talking about real-world counterparts, are literally designed to run for the pass, which is a few seconds, and then they're torn down and they're rebuilt again before they make another pass. And so engine longevity isn't really their goal. It isn't really their concern. And so if you put that in anything that was going to run for more than like 3, 4, 5 seconds, yeah, you'd probably just be constantly blowing it up and it wouldn't work very well. But before we go much further, I want to take a moment to talk about stuff like this, because this, it says there's an update, and it lists, you know, 1.8.0 and new things that were supposedly added to the game, but that you saw right there, that is fake, and that was shared in a No Limit Drag Racing 2.0 Facebook group, and the person that shared it was like, you know, new update is out, y'all, enjoy. And I really want y'all to be aware of people sharing stuff like that around, and they'll say, hey, the new update is out. Like, I even see it in my comments sometimes, whether it's on No Limit videos or Off-Road Outlaws videos, you know, where people will comment saying things like, hey, the new update is out, why don't you have it yet? And I think they know that I know that the new update isn't out yet, but what I think that they, you know, they try to do is they try to make other people think that the update is out, and then I don't really know what the end game of it is. It's like they go and look for it, and then it's not there, and then they, you know, I don't know, like, what's the point of trying to tell somebody the update is out when it's not out? Like, other than making them go to the, you know, like, App Store for no reason. Like, there's literally no point in that. So I want y'all to know that all of my update information comes directly from the devs, and I never share any of the fake information. So if you're seeing update information on either my channel or directly from the official developer channels, that information is fully accurate. I never share any of that fake update information unless it is specifically to let y'all know that it is fake. So please do keep that in mind, because I've been seeing an increase lately in fake update information being kind of circulated around the community. But with that all being said and done, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this video where we went into detail on sort of the state of the next No Limit Drag Racing 2.0 update. Now, if y'all have any questions for me or anything that you think should be present in the next No Limit Drag Racing 2.0 update that we have not yet talked about, make sure to bring all of that up in the comments down below. Let's kind of open up the conversation so we can all talk about it, because that's what helps push this game forward. And if there's anything else that y'all would like to see in particular right here on the channel, I'm always reading y'all's comments, and I always love to get the feedback, because the feedback from y'all is what helps drive new content. It's what helps push this channel forward, and it's also what helps me come up with new ideas and new video series for y'all. But without any further ado, that is going to do it for this video. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time.